From Newport Beach to talk about Orange County's Sheriff's Department and what's going on with Orange County Registered Political Reporter Peggy Lowe. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, guys.
You just did a wonderful interview with her. When is it going to be aired? Her act's going to be seen?
It's going to be seen in Sunday's paper. We'll probably be posting it on the web, probably Friday afternoon. What's interesting about Sandra Hutchins, our new sheriff, who will be sworn in on Tuesday, is that we didn't really know anything about her. She literally came out of the blue, and she was appointed the new sheriff last week, of course. So I sat down with her yesterday, talked to her for about an hour and a half, and I've talked to a lot of her former colleagues in Los Angeles.
Your impression?
I was quite impressed just by the fact that her former colleagues in Los Angeles, who have nothing to gain by talking to her, some of them sought me out, some I found, all said, down to the last person, she was fair, she was honest, she was very popular with upper and lower management. I had one guy say, a deputy who's, I think just a sergeant, say, most of the deputies I knew would walk over broken glass for this woman. She's really an incredible leader.
It's funny, I talked to some people that that were involved in the torch run for Special Olympics on Friday night, and the same kind of feedback I had, and they said she's just amazing, and they were kind of surprised that she took the position. They thought maybe she's going to stay retired. But in looking at what are some of the main challenges that she sees for herself right away? Oh,
there's so many challenges. I mean, it's kind of hard to say them all. First of all, to get a handle, I think, on exactly what's going on. She says she wants an exhaustive internal, external audit. She's already brought in a consultant to look at the jails. She'll be meeting with her command staff on Thursday to talk about who she's going to surround herself. She wants to see who's there and maybe choose from them first. So she has a lot on her plate. What's also interesting about her, though, is that she gets sheriff's departments. She started as a secretary in Los Angeles, moved her way up, and retired, of course, about a year or so ago as a division chief, which is a really big deal.
You know, when you mentioned that she retired, why not just come down here in Orange County, live the good life? Why jump into a situation like this, especially a situation that is not great to begin with?
Yeah, I talked to her about that. You know, she lives in Dana Point with her husband, who's also retired. He's an assistant chief for the Los Angeles Unified School District. And she said they were having a great time, taking long walks every day, you know, hanging out down at the harbor and really exploring Dana Point. But she, and I think I heard her maybe say part of this last week to you guys, she kept reading about all the corona scandals in the paper, and it made her crazy. And she said she didn't talk to anybody else when she decided to apply. She literally applied online about maybe 3 weeks before the job posting closed. And not until she had made some of the final cuts did she call some people she knows and said, hey, you might be reading my name in the paper. I've made the cut for this job.
Well, how does this team forever? Talk a little bit about that and how that fits in.
What you're referring to, of course, is a story that Frank Mickett wrote about today in his column, and also the OC Weekly wrote a little bit about it last week. There's a guy named Ron Cedillos who is a wealthy Orange County businessman, South County, and he is a longtime GOP backer. He backed Mike Corona years ago. And when he initially met Corona and was impressed by him, as Frank wrote about today, they created what they called Team Forever. And a couple reporters from the Reg wrote about it back in 2004. Team Forever included Corona, Ron Cedillos, Don Heidel, and George Jaramillo. Now we all know Heidel, Jaramillo, and Corona have their legal problems. And Cerritos has backed away from them. He's really no longer friends with them, and he tells that to Frank today. The reason this has all come up again is because the day Sandra Hutchins got appointed, a registered picture showed Ron behind her, congratulating her, and I was there. He was very effusive. He was kind of, you know, hitting her on the shoulders. And so people connected up Corona and Hutchins. I talked to the sheriff's department. She didn't know him. He was one of the people that stepped forward when she decided to run and said, I'd like to help you. So he happened to be there that day. So Frank is going to write part 2 tomorrow. So we'll all have to see that too.
Well, part 1 was fascinating. I could not put it down. When did Cedillos, though, sort of separate himself from the Team Forever picture? Because they all went down in a ball of flames, and he somehow, did he just end his relationship with Corona due to some of these things that are just now coming out?
Right. Well, as Frank wrote about, it was not actually the things that have just come out. It was other things like the reserve deputy program, a concealed weapons permit, some other things. He felt that Corona wasn't doing his job well enough. That was like 9 years ago.
Right.
So really, Team Forever lasted about Team 2 years.
In our last about 30 seconds, not much time to cover it, but the Register had an investigation on overtime sheriff's deputies. Did she react to that?
This is another huge thing that Sandra Hutchins has on her plate as she takes over sheriff. A few of the deputies really are probably abusing the overtime system. However, the sheriff's department is also in a jam because they need guys to, cover those shifts in the jail. So she's also, the Soups have asked for an audit of the overtime situation, so we'll know more later.
And it's going to be coming out Sunday.
My feature,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you very much. And again, folks, when we talk about these, I want you to understand there's some of the most incredible individuals you'll ever meet, ever, that work for the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and there's so many of them. There's very few of the others, so just keep that in mind.
Few bad apples.
Thanks a lot, Peggy.